Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking about Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. So it's a mouthful to say, and my thoughts on this, and I just want to say off the back, thank God that this ended up being incredible. I just want to say from the start, like, a massive thank you to WayForward for like making this remake of these first two games of the series, and quite frankly they've done an incredible job, and like this game has ended up being everything I could have asked for it. And I've only just finished the first campaign. I haven't even touched Advance Wars 2. I've not played with any of the COs on that. I've just been doing content from the first game and unlocking things as we go and all that sort of good stuff. So I'm here today to tell you about just how much I am loving this, and if I have any criticisms, I will bring them up. But let's start off with just the game as a package. The game as a package is chock full of content, right? So you've got the two campaigns. The first campaign itself has branching paths in it in certain parts of the game, which is really, really cool. So you can choose how you want to play through the game. You then have the second campaign, which I don't remember. It has secret missions, I think. I don't think it has branching paths, but it has secret missions in it from what memory. So there's that. So you have two full campaigns, looking at probably about 30 missions each, roughly. Maybe it's not quite 30 in the first game, but that. You then have the war room, which is full of like challenge maps. Usually the maps are slightly stacked against you, and you can pick the CO you want to try, and you go for like a high score, and every time you try it you get points, and those points can be used to spend on things. So you've got campaign, you got war room, you got versus mode, which is local play or wireless play, and that's just like a versus mode for you and your friends to play. Or if you just want to play a round of Advance Wars versus the AI, you can do that as well. You then, on top of that, have the design room, which lets you make maps, which you can play on in versus mode, which is kind of fun as well, and also share them with your friends. You also have online play, which I doubt I'm going to get to test because I don't know anyone else bar myself who's buying it, but you can play against a friend online. Which I get is a little bit disappointing for some people. Like, playing as randomers would probably be good, but it is what it is. And then lastly, you've got like Hatchie's shop in the gallery, and there's a ton of stuff to unlock. You can unlock pretty much all the music in the game. You can unlock a ton of gallery content, like art and things like that. You get a dossier for your characters. You get the COs from the game. You get alternate colors. You get hard modes. There is a lot of stuff in this game, and I know some people might be thinking, ooh, £50 in the UK, that's a lot of money. Quite frankly, if you're into strategy games, you're going to get your value out of this. This game is chock full of content. It's got more content than things like, like Nintendo released Mario Strikers Battle League, right? It's got way more content than that. It's crazy how much content is in this game with these two games combined. And I think that really shows, and you can tell they've given a shit, and there's a lot of love put into this. So the whole game as a whole, like if you don't know what Advance Wars is, it's a strategy game. It's a turn-based strategy game. You build units, you send out units, you fight units. You've got two ways to win. You either take the enemy HQ or you destroy all their units. And it's if you like chess, if you like other strategy games, this is for you. It's going to trigger that part of your brain that likes figuring out puzzles almost. What units, what to attack, what's the biggest threats, what can I do? Can I trick my opponent? And then you've got the COs on top of that, so the commanding officers that you pick all have an ability. Take Andy, for example. No, he's average, which means he doesn't have any weaknesses or strengths. But that means that if you're against somebody that does have some kind of weakness, like if you're playing against Max, for example, Max's whole thing is his direct combat units do a ton more damage than anybody else's. It's like plus 30% or something crazy. So, but then his indirect units, which are like rockets and artillery, have crap range. They're quite frankly, they're awful. So if you're playing as Andy, you're like, well, I can use indirect stuff. It's unlikely that Max is going to use it. And on top of that, you got your CO power. So with Andy, you get hyper repair, which gives you a plus 10 to attack and defense as well when you're active, and it repairs your units by 2 extra health. Max has max force, which is basically he does like plus 30, plus like 60% damage, and he just smashes through it. It's crazy, and that's like that for the entirety of the COs. There are a ton of COs in this game, and one brand new one, which we will get onto in a bit. But quite frankly, yeah, I'm just like the charm, the vibes from this, the characters and stuff, and something we need to talk about, which is integral to Advance Wars, is the music. If you've never played this game before, the music essentially that you hear throughout the games is primarily the theme of the CO. Each CO has a different theme. Now, obviously, this being a remake, we're getting remixes of those tracks. We're getting new versions of these tracks. So when you boot up Andy's theme, you're greeted by this incredible drum start with this slap bass. Like, his theme is like iconic to this series. It's kind of like the theme for the series, if you will. Incredible theme. Some people love Max's theme, which is like a kind of heavy rock sort of sound. You've got Sammy's one, which is pretty badass as well. And then on top of that, you've got the other CO themes. All of them so far in the first game sound awesome. These remixes are incredible. I've never been a big fan of Sturm's theme, so that's the boss character that you fight in Advance Wars. I've never been a fan of it, but this version of it is really cool. And so, minor spoilers, but they actually included Clone Andy as a playable CO. And Clone Andy has his own music, which is brand new to this game. He never had that. I think he just originally had Andy's anthem, sorry. And so now you can play as Clone Andy, which is awesome in its own right. And on top of that, he gets his own music, and it's so good. It is so good, and that was such a welcome surprise. I'm really, really happy with the additions of this game that they've added in. But the music across the board is phenomenal. There's brand new tracks in this game. There's incredible remixes of old themes. It's literally part of the game. If you're playing this game with the sound off, you are playing it wrong. You need to enjoy the music. It's so good. And now in the first game, I don't know what Advance Wars 2's like, but in the first game when you use a CO power, you get a beefed up version of their theme, and it just comes in. It's like quite dancey usually, or like Grit's one gets like heavier guitar stuff. Oh man, it just literally does a lot for me. Let's put it that way. It does a lot for me. On top of the incredible music, on top of the incredible gameplay, we've now got voice acting in the game. We've now got cutscenes, so the story feels a lot more... You're more involved with it. So now you get to see a beginning cutscene. You get a bit more of the story. You get to hear conversations between the characters. Yes, they don't always say all of their dialogue. It's that kind of like... They'll read like the first sentence and then they won't read anything else. They'll just make like grunts. But in one of the cutscenes near the end of the game, you actually get to see them properly talk to each other, which is awesome. So there's like all that as well. I'm trying to think. It just brings all the characters to life. There's voice actors in there you're gonna know. It's really it makes a difference. Like Andy sounds like every single one of these characters sounds how I imagine they would sound. Even the guy who does Drake does a great job of making him sound like a pirate, which I think is awesome. And then you get the cutscenes for when you trigger a CO power. That's really cool as well, and each of the characters says what their power is. Like just adds to the game. There's so much here. Where obviously these games are like 20 years old, the originals, that it just adds all this new flavour. And then, like I said, you got like the extra content in this game. The extra content being Clone Andy, which is awesome. We've got all the gallery stuff like that. The music, all the new songs. It's like they took the original games and were like, how can we add to this on top of things, on top of what's already there? I mean, one of the coolest things is once you finish the campaign, you can then go back into the campaign and do the other routes that you didn't take. In the original game, you couldn't do that. So it's really awesome now. You can go back in and be like, right, I'm going to finish off all the other routes, which is what I'm currently doing before I even move on to the second game. Because the second game changes some things up, has CO powers and super CO powers, and obviously the black hole characters that you meet, and you have like Colin, Sensei, and Jess as well as extra to the game. So I haven't even tried any of those characters. I don't know what they're like. Probably played exactly the same as they do in the original games, which is great. But there's little things in this game that just make me super happy, and that like one of them was the fact that were they going to call Andy's anthem, which has always been known as Andy's anthem rather than like Nell's theme, Max's theme, and they do. They call it Andy's anthem. It's like little things like that, and it's hard to explain to people that haven't played the originals or don't care as much. But the care and attention to detail that they've put into it, like the quotes the characters have, that their kind of personalities, all this other stuff that's in the game, the love and care in there, like how Hachi sounds and what he talks about and how he is. He's the shopkeeper. There's just a ton of stuff like that, and it's awesome to see that basically they gave a shit. They gave a shit about this game doing well. They gave a shit about making it the best version of these games, and they've achieved that. I know we can talk about the graphics. Like, people were saying, "Oh, I don't really like the toy art style," but it wasn't until I was playing it where I was really like, "Oh, you're inside like a little box, and then you're almost like a board game on the table, and then you're playing in the box there." I really like the art style. Yeah, I think being a little bit more cartoony, like almost like a cell shaded look, would kind of be cool. But I have no problems with this art style. People complaining about the art style, I'm just like, look, what did you want? Sprite work again? Which they could have done. Don't get me wrong, but I think this works really well, especially when you finally get to see Black Holes units and how they've changed them up and things like that. There's just really cool. It just works really well. I am super happy. Like, there's also like the new additions to the game, like resetting a turn and being able to fast forward for other turns and things like that. I like the fact that they've given that kind of quality of life changes and things. Like, they really have thought about a lot of stuff in this game, and they've even added an easy mode in. I don't know how much easier the game is on casual because I've not played it. I did it on classic, but you can switch between those difficulties at any time as well, which is awesome. So you're not penalised for it. So that's really good. I could sit here for a very long time and talk about how much I absolutely love this game, and quite frankly, this is easily in my top 5 Switch games. I always knew it would be. I always knew it was going to be great, and yeah, it's out now, and this is a game I will be playing for a very long time, and hopefully be playing with other people. I know the mainstream are going to be looking to Zelda in a few weeks and things like that, but you know what? This game needed this to happen. And I really sincerely hope that this game hits about 1 million copies sold, because then there is a chance, there's a much higher chance that if it hits that, we could get, you know, either the DS games to be brought over, which I'm not sure how they would do that, or they would essentially do a brand new Advance Wars game, and that would be insane to me. And I really hope that that is something that happens, and give it a way forward. Sod it, you know, they've managed to prove themselves to do this remake right. And I have nothing but respect for them on this project. You know, to see all those composers have fun with the music, to see all those people be able to create this game. And this is the best thing that could happen to the series. Hopefully this brings in a lot of new players. If you have a passing interest in this game, I recommend playing it. If you like strategy games, like turn-based ones, I recommend playing it. Yeah, it's incredible, and I am so happy, and I really don't think anything else this year that's going to come out is going to surpass this for me. Yeah, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom might be a fantastic game, but it's not Advance Wars. Like, this is just super awesome, and I am incredibly happy. Like, if I had to give it a score, it'd be like a 10 out of 10, but bear in mind I haven't played the second campaign. There's stuff I haven't done, but like, on a personal level, it's like a 10, you know? And I just hope more people play it and get to enjoy it, and just, if nothing else, go and listen to the soundtrack. Soundtrack is incredible. So there you go. There's my thoughts on Advance Wars. Me gushing for over 10 minutes on how great it is. Anyway, that'll do it for me today then, guys. Thank you very much for watching, as always. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description. And until next video, I will see you then.